And I remember that moment when after you rotate and get up in the air and you look to the right and nobody's there. And that was one of the best moments of my life.
It took me 20 hours to get a license. I don't know if that's good or bad. And now I've accumulated about 7,000 more.
There's a Piper Cub, J3 Cub. My brother Doug, not an instructor, had taught me to fly. And then he found an instructor to sign me off, Major Garner.
The instructor was prohibited from letting me solo until I had 8 hours. But when I had 5, he said, you're ready. How would you like to start doing some aerobatics?
You know, I think that the key to getting more kids involved are to really educate them and let them know that it's possible. I would say the majority of kids in the country love airplanes. They just don't know that they can fly them if they really want to. They think that it's either too expensive or they're not good enough or whatever the reason is, but if you can tell them that, you know, if you work hard and you put your mind to it, then kids are going to be able to do it. I mean, heck, I did it. I'm living proof that anybody can do it, so you just got to educate them and let them know what's in the realm of the possible, and they'll get out there and get to it.
Well, what really got me interested in flying, I met a United Airlines captain, Captain Gary Robinson. I was a high school football star, walked up to me out the blue, said, hey son, you ever thought of becoming a pilot? Told him I didn't think I was smart enough to do it. Next thing you know, started to mentor me, and that was it. Turned down a full scholarship to Florida, pursued a career in aviation, was able to fly around the world, set some records, being the youngest person to do it and the first black person to fly solo around the world, and just, you know, it caused me to have a great passion for young people to also get them involved in this dynamic industry. It's at peace. I mean, you're between heaven and earth. What else more could you ask for? You know, and for me to have the opportunity to take flying and share that passion with other young people, get them motivated, excited about math and science, it's a remarkable thing.
My daddy soloed me on my 14th birthday in June 1935 in Attleboro, Massachusetts, in a Waco GXE-10. It was an old biplane, had a 90 horsepower Curtiss-Wright OX-5 engine in it. 90 horsepower, yeah. I remember as if it was yesterday.
First of all, I've never met Sir Richard Branson, and he's the recipient of the Lifetime Award. And what a fantastic entrepreneur. I mean, 50,000 people in every darn country in the globe, and he did it by sheer guts. It's a thrill always to be with this group of people. We just get a little older every year, but not seriously.
Can you tell us how you first got interested in aviation?
My husband made me do it. He said, I'm going to buy an aircraft. And I thought, if he's going to buy an aircraft, I'll have to learn to land it. And I ended up loving it. And I've been flying 44 years.
Do you remember your first solo?
Oh, do I ever?
What was that like?
It was exciting because I thought I was going to say a little prayer to ask God to help me have a safe flight, and all of a sudden I was in the air, so I had to fly.
And you had to land.
I had to look. I said, how am I going to get this down? But it was exciting.
I'm Robert Giacoletto, director of the video project.
All right.
You remember RJ?
Sure,
of course.
RJ.
Yeah.
Advanced aerodynamics, advanced propulsion systems makes them more exciting than ever. And more available because it's increasingly economical, and that's what we're after. And it's the ultimate expression of freedom, really.
We have this common denominator, and that's flight, and it changes you as a human being when you do this. It changes you as a human being when you share it, and that's why we're here, is to share that fellowship.
Do you remember your first solo?
Oh golly, absolutely.
What was that like?
Let's see, that was in 1969 in a Cessna 152 at Van Nuys Airport. And you know, a Cessna's kind of a kiddie car, but when you're all by yourself for the first time in your life, and that seat's a pretty lonely place, and it was a pretty big machine, and what a blast. I'll never forget my first solo. It's a milestone in your life to have the courage to pull back on the stick and fly, and then to bring the airplane back safely. Very, very, very memorable experience. But how do we get them from air shows into an airplane? That's a huge challenge, because these kids who fly really take on a different persona. In terms of their their awareness of who they are as a human being. Now it's taken them some guts to get up into an airplane, and they challenge themselves, they challenge their fears, they become very accountable towards their actions.
Hoover and I go back a long ways. We've done a lot of things together.
Really?
And
I've seen you every year for the last 4 years, and it's great to see you every year. Thank you so much for being here. What excites you about being here tonight?
It's a great evening, isn't it?
it is. I just say we come here to see each other. What'd you say?
Read everything I could find on Charles Lindbergh, never dreaming that I would someday become a close friend of his. And I brought him out of obscurity right here at this hotel in 1969. And it was one of the greatest evenings ever. The fact that you can challenge yourself every time you fly. And I always kind of flew for myself, just proving that I could do it a little better than I did yesterday.
Because I'm still an active airline pilot, to get kids in aviation, I'm always telling them, bring them out to the air shows. And what we have now that we didn't have 40 years ago when I was learning to fly is at air shows or other events, they offer scholarships, they offer opportunities. They have all these school accredited aviation courses now. Doesn't matter if you're a pilot, a dispatcher, a meteorologist, a mechanic, it's all there. We need kids because they are our future.
Yeah, Dal Coletto?
You know, you should be a race car guy.
Yeah.
Well, to be involved in the aviation legends, you know, for some little kid that used to fly Piper Cubs out of a grass field a long time ago, to even be here is quite an honor. You know, back in the late 50s, when I was in high school, we could see those contrails in the sky. And I knew at the head of that was a jet fighter of some kind. And I could not wait to get there. I had to get there as soon as possible to see what it looked like from up there. And, you know, those people that flew those airplanes, they were gods to me. They were somebody from another planet.
Legends and friends, it's just amazing the turnout here. And so it's fun to see your friends. Don't see them too often, a lot of them, but here was once a year where everybody gets together.
What first got you interested in aviation? Way back when you were a kid.
When I was a kid in Wichita, and there's a lot of airplanes in Wichita. They call it the air capital of the world. And I used to see these planes by the time I was 5 years old. Got my first ride when I was 7. And I knew that's what I wanted to do, you know. Getting on TV games, and they're going to the moon and going 7,000 miles an hour, unless they experience it themselves. Looking down and seeing the houses, maybe flying the airplane, I don't think they're as interested as they used to be. But there's still a lot of good kids out there, and but we need to do what we can to bring them into aviation. It's a good life.
I love everything to do about flying, whether it's balloons or planes or skydiving or space travel. And so obviously delighted to be here, delighted to meet such an incredible group of aviators. Well, I used to know Douglas Bader, who was quite famous for, I don't know if you've seen the film Reach for the Sky, but he had lost both his legs in a Spitfire crash, and he used to come to my house as a kid and regaled me with stories about the Second World War, and I used to steal his tin legs. But my mother was one of the very first stewardesses ever to fly in the BOAC planes. She used to have to put oxygen masks on as they crossed mountains. So she told me lots of great stories. And I got captivated.
Well, thank you. RJ, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Can you just give us a couple of comments just about just being here tonight? What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm very honored to be here, and of course, I'm excited about I'm looking forward to seeing friends, and I have no idea what's going on here, so it's kind of exciting.
What's your earliest memory of your fascination with planes? Didn't you listen to a radio show or something like that?
Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad was an advertising agency producer, and one of his shows was Sky King. And I was very interested in Sky King, but not at that point in the airplane. But that came later.